Well, we begin in the Middle East, where Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is defending a planned military offensive in Gaza. He spoke to foreign journalists earlier today in Jerusalem. Netanyahu said Israel, quote, has no choice but to finish the job and complete the defeat of Hamas.
No nation can accept a genocidal terrorist organization, an organization committed to its annihilation, a stone's throw from its citizens. Our goal is not to occupy Gaza. Our goal is to free Gaza, free it from Hamas terrorists. The war can end tomorrow if Gaza, or rather if Hamas lays down its arms and releases all the remaining hostages.
Netanyahu's briefing came as the United Nations Security Council prepares for an emergency meeting today on Israel's plan. CBC's Susan Ormiston is tracking the latest for us from Jerusalem.
It seemed clear that the timing was quite deliberate. Not only has the UN Security Council emergency meeting, where we're going to hear a lot of condemnation of Israel's plan, started. He started his news conference just before that. But Netanyahu has also faced a weekend of opposition here in Israel. Big demonstrations in Tel Aviv and in Jerusalem over the weekend in opposition to escalating this war, to start a new campaign into some of the hardest parts of Gaza, the biggest battlegrounds, to try to rout Hamas out and to capture and retrieve the hostages who are believed to still be alive there. Benjamin Netanyahu's message, though, was that the world has been fooled by lies, saying that the international media has accepted Hamas's lies, and they have been spread by algorithms on social media. He acknowledged that Israel is fighting an information war. He called it a propaganda war, and is losing, and that it was time to defend its position. Basically, Netanyahu is telling the world that Hamas is to blame for all that's occurred inside Gaza over the last 22 months, not only the brutal attack which started this and killed many Israelis on October 7th, nearly 2 years ago. He's saying that Israel has not had a policy of starvation and genocide, even though many have criticized this as perhaps a deliberate policy. He said if that were the case, there would be no people left in Gaza. He said that Hamas was responsible for the aid problems, that it was stealing aid in order to finance its war machine. We've heard that quite a bit. And also that the restrictions on aid were largely at the feet of Hamas. There were some things that are important to know about the way forward. He said that there would be new humanitarian corridors established inside Gaza. He said that, quote, food would flood in by land and by air. He did not give any details about how the planned evacuation of Gaza City would take place. In fact, how the soldiers, IDF, would be able to forcefully move nearly 1 million people out of Gaza City, sending them further south in order to initiate their battle inside Gaza City. So a few details he did say, but many he did not.
Yeah, a lot of questions remain to be answered, but let's turn to the issue of Palestinian statehood. Many countries, Canada included, are pushing for this with conditions. It came up when he was speaking with journalists. What did he have to say about this idea of Palestinian statehood, Susan?
Well, I think it's useful to understand that Benjamin Netanyahu today was speaking to the world, but he was also speaking to his own country, and particularly his political coalition. He's not going to negotiate in public, certainly not at this stage, and he is not going to step back or walk back from this idea of Israel accepting a Palestinian state. He said the problem of a Palestinian state is not the absence of one, it's that Palestinians won't accept any boundary which includes a Jewish state. And that's the fundamental problem. And there's no change in that. There was already reported strong opposition here amongst some of the cabinet members inside Israel to France, the US, and Canada, saying they would declare a Palestinian state by September, at the time of the UN General Assembly in New York. He said giving Hamas that opportunity without forcing it to recognize the existence of a Jewish state would actually force the next war to happen much more quickly. So no change to his position on that question. And of course, that's one of the key areas that is separating Hamas and Israel in any effort to get a ceasefire deal.
CBC's Susan Armiston in Jerusalem. As we mentioned, the UN Security Council is holding a rare Sunday meeting to discuss Israel's decision to take control of Gaza City. The acting UN aid chief is warning that the humanitarian situation in Gaza is untenable and could be made even worse by further Israeli military control in the region.
The health authorities in Gaza have documented the deaths of 98 children from severe acute malnutrition, 37 alone since the 1st of July, just over a month ago. This is no longer a looming hunger crisis. This is starvation, pure and simple. The situation is untenable, especially for older people, people with disabilities and children without parental care, and widowed women. Gaza lies in ruins.
The UK, France, and other countries issued a joint statement today. It condemns Israel's takeover plan, saying it risks violating international law. The statement also calls for the immediate lifting of restrictions on aid deliveries to Gaza.